to the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee meeting of the Board of Health and from the Perry Sound office today. So I'll call the meeting to order. And first on the agenda, we have the land acknowledgement delivered by Tim Shepard.
The health unit is situated on lands that are the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe people who continue to live, work, and play throughout these territories, including in urban communities. I encourage everyone about how they may contribute both personally and professionally to the process of reconciliation and respond to the 94 calls to action of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada.
So 3.0 is the election of chairperson and vice chair. 3.1, the chairperson. We did have two nominations come forward, both for Tim Shepard and for Jamie Lowry. Are you both wanting your names to stand?
If Jamie is going to continue, I will defer to Jamie.
I'm interested, Jim. I am interested in continuing.
All right, so we have a resolution before us. It resolved that Jamie Lowry, the elected chairperson of the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee for the North Bay Perry Sound District Health Unit for the year 2026. Do we have the mover? Thank you, Dave. And the seconder? Thank you, Blair. And I'll call for a vote. So Rick Chimpy,
Yes.
Yes.
Blair Flowers,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Lowry,
Yes.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Jamie Restoll is not here. Alex Scott,
Yes.
Tim Shepard,
Yes.
Marion Stickland,
Yes.
and Dave Boyd.
Yes.
Carried.
We have elections for the vice chair. So we have one name forward for vice chair. That's Karen Cook. Is there anyone else? Haven't heard of anyone else? Okay. Do you accept Karen?
Sure.
Okay. Anyone else? Need a mover? Dave Wolf. Seconded? Marion? Okay, we'll read the resolution. Let it be resolved that Karen Cook, the elected vice chair of the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee for North Bay Perry Sound District Health Unit for the year 2026. Call for a vote. Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
Yes.
right. Blair Flowers,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Lowry is a yes. Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
right. Jamie Restoll, not here. Absent. Alex Scott,
Yes.
thank you. Tim Shepard,
Yes.
Marianne,
Yes.
and David Wolf. That is carried. Great. So the next order of the business is approval of the agenda. Let it be resolved that the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee agenda dated June 24th be approved. Do I have a mover? Champagne? Seconded, Sarah Inch. For a Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
Yes.
Claire Flowers,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie, yes. Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Sue's absent. Alex,
Yes.
you, Tim,
Yes.
Diane, Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
That's carried. Said it was action packed, Rick. You were absolutely correct. So the date of the next meeting, what's that? Oh, conflict of interest. Do we actually do a thing for conflict of interest? Yeah, I don't remember. Some places do, some places don't. Be resolved that we need a mover for the, let it be resolved that the minutes of the personnel policy, there's no conflict of interest. It's just us, you know, there's no, did anyone declare a conflict of interest? Any events? No? Okay. We'll move on to the next one. I'll read it out. Be resolved that the minutes of the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee meeting held on November 26, 2025 be approved as presented. Do I have a mover? Tim? Oh, friendly amendment? Yep.
Yes, my name is misspelled in one spot. I can point it out to you after. I read them.
You did you?
Yeah.
Tim, seconder? Seconder? Alex? Okay. Read it out. Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
Yes.
Claire-
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Amy Ray, Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
was absent. Tim, Alex,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Diane,
Yes.
and the correct spelling, Dave Wolf.
Yes.
That's carried. Richie, call the order. What is this? Right to be resolved. We're going to the in-camera component of it?
Approving the income.
Okay, the in-camera minutes. Okay, let me be resolved that the in-camera minutes from the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee held on November 26th be approved as presented. Do we have a mover? Nick? Seconder? A call out. Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
Yes.
Claire Flowers,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie, yes. Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Amy Restool is absent. Alex Scott,
Yes.
Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Marianne Strickland,
Yes.
Dave Wolf. That's carried. What's that? What's that?
Stick one.
Stick one. This the same.
Everybody does.
Okay. My fault.
That's fine. Just point with you.
Okay. Personnel matters. Okay, notice the motion to move in camera. Okay,
Date
Oh,
of,
not
where's
there
that
yet.
point?
no, sorry, I can't.
For date of next meeting.
Okay, okay. How did I miss that? The date of the next meeting is September 23rd, 2026. Time to be determined and location in Ipsing Room, the North Bay office. Any business arising? Just the main camera item? The business arising?
No, it's not under business
No.
rising. There's nothing under business
Okay.
rising.
Let me go to new business. Equal wage. This one here.
Just you don't have to sign for
Okay.
the amendment.
Be 9.1. Nine point one.
Which is where? It's 10.3.
You're right. You're on the right page.
I'm on the right page?
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, so you're reappointing myself.
okay, so, okay. Okay, so where is the Board of Health, Recorder Secretary? Ashley?
Sorry, no, we have.
No.
9.1 first.
9.1 is
It's just a report, there's no resolution.
Okay, all right. This is why I'm confused. One of the reasons, I'm confused for a lot of reasons, Carol, to be honest with you. This, I left in a huge rush. I'm just not feeling prepared right now. Anyway. So this is the equal wage report. Is there any questions?
This is in reference to the Ontario living wage, not equal wage. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just would caution to keep in mind, I'm not opposed, by the way. I just want to be clear from the outset. But when we do these things, it's on the back of the taxpayer. And it comes down to our municipalities and our funders. So I'd just like it to be noted that we've considered these things with the spirit in which they're intended. And that when we do these things, that there could be, I don't think there will be, but there could always be some negative feedback from the community when it becomes public. Otherwise,
Anybody else?
To get soapbox, but you want me to say
I think you
something?
should.
I should say something. I totally agree with that because I'm going to be very clear when it comes to my council. If that comes to my council, there'll be a big debate because not only is it for the social services, but you need to look at it one level higher, and that is we have people on our council that are business people. And when there's more money put in at the bottom end, it pushes everything further up, right? And that's it. It's not really fair at the end of the day. I totally agree with social services. I totally agree with that, but I still think we need to be cognizant that it has a multi-level effect at the end of the day. And perhaps there are better ways of accommodating people that are at a different point in their life. I don't know what all that is. I just don't have time. Haven't had time to research that. Other countries do it differently than we do, and that's all I'm saying at this point in time.
fair. My concern is simply that there are people in the community that pay taxes that don't benefit from having a living wage. And that sometimes it may feel institutions have a sense of entitlement instead of recognizing the good work that our people do. We focus on, not we, but they tend to focus more than on the sense of entitlement as opposed to the benefits that are derived from having qualified, well-paid staff. So again, my comment was simply that when we do these things, we have to be cognizant, and I'm sure you are, this is not a criticism, that we're cognizant that the taxpayer is always the final place where we get our funding from, and we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, and I would say, I mean, in the actual financial impacts, really, we don't have any goals within our unit that would, our minimum wage or below the living wage kind of threshold. So the actual financial impact is not there. This is, as you said, it is more symbolic, and definitely there's many considerations that go into this, and there are the two sides of the coin in terms of showing leadership, in terms of supporting living wage, because that is something that the Board of Health has passed resolutions on in the past, is to support a living wage for all Ontarians. So in keeping with that Board of Health resolution, we as an organization pledge to of a living wage within our organization, as we are advocating for a living wage for all Ontarians.
Nothing to it.
Okay, so appoint the camera, this is for the, let me just read the resolution, whereas the Board of Health's recorder secretary actually will be excused for the duration of the 10.3 during the in-camera session. Let it be resolved that.
Paul.
No, is it Paul? Oh, Paul, too. Sorry about that. I'll be appointed the secretary of the pro tem for purpose of recording and confidential minutes of the in-camera session during 10.3. Do I have a mover?
You are.
And Jamie McGarvey. Okay. And seconder, thank you, Jamie. I will call out Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jamie is yes, Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
then absent, Alex,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Yes.
and
Yes.
David Wolf. That's carried. Okay. Next one, to be it resolved that the Personnel Policy Employee Labor Relations Committee move to in-camera act. Deb? Have a day I'm having.
Having a great day.
I'm having an amazing day tonight. To discuss the following, 10.3, a personnel matter about an identifiable individual. Do I have a mover?
Yeah.
David Wolf,
Second it.
Champagne.
Nothing. I was talking to. Sorry.
Quite, you know, and respectful to the chair. Ray Champagne,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
you, Blair,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
yes, Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
person's absence, Alex, Tim,
Yes.
yes, and David. Wolf. Yeah. Okay.
Just let you know when we're talking.
Okay. item 10.3, therefore let it be resolved that Ashley, recording secretary, be reappointed to resume recording the minutes of the in-camera session. We have a mover.
Yeah.
Jamie? Seconder? Sarah? Okay, well, Greg Champagne?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes,
You stop crying.
I did.
Blair?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Jamie is a yes. Jamie McGarvey?
Yes.
Absent. Alex?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
Rhiannon?
Yes.
And David Wolf. That's carried. Okay, so let me be resolved that the Personnel Policy, Employee and Labor Relations Committee rise and report at 5:49. That's very sound time. We have a mover. Right. Rick,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes,
Blair,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Jess, Jamie, McGarvey,
Yes.
Wayne, Alex,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
and
Yes.
Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
That's carried. Adjournment.
So I guess we'll call to order the vertical finance and property committee meeting. That would be at 5:51. And to approve the agenda. So do I have a mover and a seconder?
Karen had.
And Karen? And so I guess I'll call for a vote. Any discussion? I'll call for a vote then, and that would be Rick Champagne.
Yes.
Cook,
yes,
Flowers,
Yes.
myself is a yes. Jamie Lowry. Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland. Yes. And Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Moving on. So we are now going to. Does anyone have any conflict of interest that they would like to declare? Doing none. Okay, we'll move on to date of the next meeting.
Approval of minutes.
Room is
Oh, I fixed that. Oh, geez, okay, so approval of the minutes. And any discussion, for approval of minutes? No, see none, all right, and a mover, please. Jamie McGarvey, and seconder. Okay, Mary Ann. Very good, and we'll call for a vote. So Rick Champagne,
Yes.
Karen Cook,
yes,
Blair Flowers,
Yes.
myself, yes. Jamie Lowry,
Mhm.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Jamie Restaurant's not here, Alex Scott,
Yes.
Kate Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland. Yes. And Dave Wolf.
Yes. I'll choke it. Yes.
The date of the next meeting is set for September 23rd, 6, and the time is 2 and it will be taking place in the senior clerk office. Okay, so any business arising? Oh, I see no business arising. Moving on to new business. So 7.1, first quarter financial statements. And they are in the package. Anyone have any comments or feedback or concerns? Sure.
Just to let you know. 9% extract. It's primarily due to vacancies and also timing of position. So, and it's much better than last year. Last year, we were about 844,000 respects. We know a little bit more this year. So I just want to let you know, like, especially you, Dave, you'd like to ask. Okay.
So, so what are the things that have you concerned right now, moving forward as we go? I mean, Q1 is always because of what you said, Paul, interesting because of timing. We're now into June, so we're well into second quarter. So I'm just curious, are there any trends that you're starting to see that we should be aware of? Number one, and number two, is there anything that's sort of keeping you up a little bit, saying, I really want to watch that?
The only, the trends are the same, but they're better at vacancies. And then on the oral health, we were under by about, I can't tell you the end of June yet, because we're still working through the numbers, but in Q1, we were 140,000 underspent, which was a large chunk of that. So those are the two things, but Shannon and the team are looking at different ways. And we're not alone. It's the same with other health units.
Right.
So, yeah, what keeps me up a little bit with this is underspending. Because if we underspend and we continue to do that, then we're going to be cut back. And I keep talking about funding as a challenge for the hospital.
So remind me, are we at our optimum FTE right now?
No, we still have vacancies.
So there's room there if we need to do a hire or two.
What we want to do is fill those vacancies. That is our priority.
Okay.
We don't have room for additional.
No, I was just, but we have room for, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, is this also, are we worried about any dollars in programming in specific terms? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. And is Lottie?
I'll just make the comment that oral health really is a challenge. It's a good thing, but it's also a challenge is the influx of the CBC2 funding, which is a source of funding that we didn't previously have, and budgets haven't been adjusted to account for that. But we are doing that, more closely now and looking at other ways we can adjust for that. Also, that in terms of the vacancies this year, we have built in, some anticipating that and knowing that not 100% of the time can we always have 100% of positions filled. We are looking for ways that we can account for that.
Yes. And well,
So on the gapping side of the vacancy side, is there any consequences, unintended consequences, I guess, with staff being not overworked, but the burden of that work, it's still there. How are we handling that?
I think it's something that we constantly manage in terms of where there are higher numbers of vacancies. That's where we put more effort into trying to fill positions as priorities and adjust work and adjust redistribute responsibilities and look how we're prioritizing.
I wouldn't want that to turn into flight risk of someone who, said, I'm had enough of this. Like, I can never fill these vacancies. And I'm like, so I'm glad you're bringing that up, that they're keeping that as a priority and that people's workloads and things are aware of that. Like, you don't want people in a situation where it becomes, overburdenous and then they look for alternative employment or even worse.
Great.
great. No further discussion on that one. Any discussion for item 7.2 or 7.3?
Just a quick question, if I may.
Yes.
On the Board of Health expenses. On the back page, it says retainer fee for the closed meeting investigator. Have we ever used the closed meeting investigator? We've never had to. Okay.
Ever?
Well, that's what I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah, like, it'd be interesting.
So is that, I guess
Yeah, no.
the municipality, well, all the municipalities would have access to a closed meeting investigator as well, would they not? Is the one that we have on retainer the same as the city of North Bay or one of our other member municipalities?
So previously it was through.
I don't think it's not allowed to.
No, it's not, it's not.
No.
We've never had to.
That's,
So do we know who the closed meeting investigator is?
Sorry,
Is it fair to their list? Is that?
I would have to.
we can find out.
So out of curiosity, because we can't answer the question, could we have the question answered for the next meeting, just out of curiosity? And two, subsequent to that, is it possible that we, if we were to need the services of a closed meeting investigator, that we could piggyback on one of our member municipalities rather than paying? Okay. I don't know the rules around that, so I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, it's the previous, I believe the service that we were using before no longer offers that.
I see, okay, okay.
They provided in their letter when they're closing their service as to other options.
I see, okay. No, that makes sense.
But I don't have the name
Okay.
right away.
Always think, try to get a question in that stumps you.
But it's a beautiful. That kind of.
Yes. Yeah, no, that's fair. Thanks.
Further discussion on those items? The insurance program and PPLER, any concerns or discussion?
So it was previously by LAS.
Thank you.
On the risk management assessment reports. No discussion. Need to accept that. Let that move on. We didn't have a meeting. The meeting will adjourn and it is at 6 p.m. In Greenwich. Oh, sorry.
No,
okay.
adjournment.
Council would do that to me.
Yeah, you have to. All right, we'll call the annual meeting to order. Approval agenda, please. Need a mover and a seconder? Tim, Mary Ann? Call the vote. Rick Champagne, yes. Aaron Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Lowry.
Yep.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex Scott, Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland, Dave Wolf.
Yep.
Carried. Conflict of interest, something comes up, let us know and we'll declare it. Item 4, approval of the previous minutes. 4.1, Board of Health minutes from April 22nd, 2026. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Jamie, Dave McGarvey, Dave Wolf. Okay, vote recorded. Rick Champagne, yes. Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower, Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Lowry,
Yes.
Jamie McGarvey.
Yeah.
Alex Scott.
Yes.
Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland, Dave Wolf. Carried. Date of the next meeting is September 23rd, 2026, determined for time. Business arising. Report of the medical officer of health, Dr. Zimbalati. Keep it package, yep.
Dave?
Looks like Dave is good. Anybody else have something for Dr. Zimbalati? See none? Carry on to board report, committee reports. Nothing at this time. Correspondence. Package. Report. New business 10.1 whistleblower directive. Dr. Zimbalati.
History on this is, this has come up. So, yeah, the auditors. I think it's, that we should have had in place, and that's what this is. It's an opportunity for anonymous, whistleblower. If anybody. There you do. We have our other processes that informal processes for harassment and the other things that we need to, but this is totally outside of that. If they see something they want to report, it's a packet report. It's by paper, so it's totally anonymous, goes to the board chair. And if it's about the board chair, it goes to the vice chair. So that way it remains anonymous. And I think it closes a little bit of a gap that potentially could exist and allows people to report that way. It's all explained in the briefing note. If you've got any other questions, I'd be happy to answer.
We had some discussion about it and I have no problem, it's another opportunity for people to offer themselves and, without going through the regular channels to be open. I don't see a problem with it.
It's just, sorry, one thing. So that anything that does come to your attention or appropriately kept confidential, and you would come back to the board report if you had, not with any specifics, but that there was one or two or whatever. Most organizations that have these in place, there's never any recorded, which is good, but it's also good to have this one.
Jamie?
Well, Mr. Chair, this is the first time I've heard of it. So is this something, what other organizations do this?
When I was in the private sector, we had those had as well. I know of 2 health units that also have this.
Okay.
Sarah?
So I'm wondering, how does that differ from the ombudsman? The health unit not fall under their jurisdiction too?
Good question. Most of the when I canvass the other health units, they have, like we have, all our processes and procedures, right, to avoid agents. So they felt that was, the majority of them felt that was good enough. But in conversing with them, they thought this was another good idea, because again, it's totally anonymous. And they know that, if it's investigated, their names don't come up. And when I worked at private sectors again, it was the same thing. People felt good that just offering that opportunity to go that way, if there's something that really bothers you. It's not for vexation type issues. It's, I saw this or I thought this. Normally it's always clarified because they just didn't know. And I think that's a good way, because if they don't have this avenue, it'll weigh on them, right? So it's a way to get this off the plate and have investigated.
So you talked about vexatious. There is a possibility that this could be used as a weapon, right? So how do we, if it's anonymous, like, is it always anonymous or just the process keeps the person anonymous because, it could, first it could be very costly. Sending people on a wild goose chase and you could be impacting people's reputation by asking questions and those kinds of things. So is there a plan, like if it's the same person or if there's an effort, like what will we do in that situation?
That's a good question. And with FOI,
Games, I just did set it for.
all right, Gabe, we got you there. FOI is another, we get FOI requests. We can determine very quickly if they're vexatious based on what it is. So when it comes to the chair and somebody that's, I don't know, they saw somebody walk out with 3 television sets or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's potential theft or fraud, right? We want that reported. There's other ways to make sure that isn't happening. Track that. But you get to know fairly quickly if it's something like that.
Dave, I think you got the other part of the question.
I was just gonna say, is there follow-up to the process once it goes to rate the election, or does he triage it to the board in general?
He would triage it to who he feels
Which department it goes to.
Yeah. It still has to remain anonymous from reporting. Again, whoever reports it remains anonymous, depending on the severity of what it is. I mean, if police need to get involved, then that has to. But Rick would not know who it is.
I think it's Dave next and it's.
Is it written to be vague in some areas?
Well, I think it would have to be.
Okay, because as a directive, I understand that. But to formalize this, it needs to be a policy of the board. Because you're governed under provincial and federal statutes in terms of whistleblower, are you not? There are laws in place that govern whistleblower. There's whistleblower legislation. So I just don't want to be on the wrong side. I like the idea, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of just having some vague notion of what this is, as opposed to formalizing in a way that doesn't use terms like takes appropriate action. The steps should be, if we're going to use this as a tool, the board should know, because if it's coming to the chair, what actions are taken, who is responsible, what does that process look like? I don't disagree with the notion of it, but confidentiality is nice to say, but it's only done if you do it in legal terms. A non-disclosure agreement has to be in there somewhere so that you have guarantee that it remains confidential. So I like the idea, but I'm not sure. I got to get my head around it.
But having said that, we're assuming other health units are doing it without redoing the wheel. What do they have in place for protection?
Similar. This basically came from the hospital. These are all really good questions. I've never had any specific asked. So we'd be happy to take it back like legislation. The way I think about this, it's a gap that we felt that we had. Because if we see somebody walking out with stealing something, I mean, if
That's a matter of theft. That's a criminal activity. Whistleblower legislation is in place to preserve the integrity of the entity against something that is reputational. So for instance, if you had knowledge that the medical officer of health was doing something that was contrary to the goals and the purpose of the health unit, you would have an obligation, I would hope, to report that to the board. But if you felt that there was some conflict that you might have, you're protected by legislation to do that, is my understanding. I could be entirely wrong. It's my understanding. I just don't want to be in a place where we're putting another layer, some sort of bureaucratic, mechanism in place just for us that's not necessary. If our staff is aware of what is their legal ability is to do these things, and I don't want to, again, I don't disagree with the notion of it, Paul, not at all. But I just want to make sure that we're not solving for a problem that doesn't exist for us.
Okay, Dr. Zimbalay?
So, I mean, I think what we need to clarify is this whistleblower policy is specifically for financial risk. It's something that our auditors wanted us to have. So it is related to matters of criminality. It is related to fraud. It's not related to moral,
So then it shouldn't be vague. It should be specific to those notions, and it shouldn't be a directive. It should be a policy, and it should be relative to our financial policies. If you're being offered that by the auditor, perhaps the auditor could provide us with some language around it. I'm just concerned that the language and the notion of it might be a little off.
in terms of how we apply policies and directives within our organization, it's, are there, if it's just about specific actions to take, that's a directive. So it felt, this form of this felt more clearly into the territory of a directive as opposed to a policy.
Mr. McGarvey?
So the auditors usually always ask if there's any fraud, and someone's supposed to, if you know about it, you're supposed to report it. Is the auditor then saying that people are afraid to report fraud in the, when they do ask the question or whatever, if they know of it and they're afraid to, so they're saying this whistleblower policy should be in place?
Exactly.
Okay.
Just another layer of protection.
It's another layer of protection, but I guess what it does is that it preempts the asking of the question in a way, because then they don't have to ask the question, but they still should ask the question so that people can come forward, but they're putting that layer in there to say that if somebody knows beforehand, then there should be something. And if it's determined just for fraud, then yeah, there should be something spelled out or whatever, that this is what we're concerned about.
Yeah, because as a whistleblower, you're not putting anything in writing.
So I'm looking here online, and it says, because the health unit is independently administrated, it doesn't fall under the ombudsman or the patient ombudsman, but it does suggest that the Ontario Ministry of Health is someone that people can complain to for funding and grant violations. And there's also the Ontario Integrity Commissioner. And that says direct law enforcement.
But the only thing that is that you got to put your name for it.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe whatever the Ontario Ministry of Health has going on.
Yeah.
I idea or something. It's a good idea about this.
I fully support the whistleblower thing. I think it's a great idea for an avenue of people that are afraid to speak up. Who do they speak to in an organization or outside of an organization? It facilitates something that there's no other avenue for unless they go to the press. Is that what we want?
Question.
And leaving it vague, maybe that is an opportunity to wait and see what, if something comes in and then return.
Well, yeah, when
I don't think it's just about fraud. I think it's bigger. I think it's intended to be bigger than that. So I'm totally good with it being the way it is.
That's what do we have to have a vote on this? Is what we're looking for? No? Okay.
Is it gonna be, the chair, is it gonna be part of a policy then, or are we bringing this back then to have it part of?
Well, Paul, I guess what I'm saying, I'm gonna answer the question is that I agree with Mary Ann. If it's something that can get brought forward and then without names involved, it's just basically a whistleblower giving you some direction saying, here's what's happening. And it's up to me to get a hold of the right people to find out what's going on, if there is something going on. And there's no name given or anything, but at least I'll get the answer, right? At least it'll put us out there saying, okay, there's an opportunity. Maybe something's going on. Maybe there isn't. But at least it's another layer of protection. And if it's something that's legal and I can pretty well know right away what they're talking about, then I can bring it forward and say, here, I've got a phone call here. We got to deal with this. I feel comfortable. Any other last words? No? Okay, we'll move on then. Whistleblower tech, okay, 10.2, formal complaint process presentation.
Terry Smith and are online.
Terry?
Everyone. Hi.
Hi, Terry. The floor is
Hi.
yours.
Okay, Christine, are you going to share my presentation or should I?
Just getting a load of your.
Okay, perfect. I can see it. I just want to make sure everyone else can see it. Is that correct? All right. Thanks, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks for your time tonight. So my name's Terry Smith, and I'm the Manager of Quality, Practice, and Relations. And what I want to do today is walk you through our updated formal complaints process. So it's a standardized approach for receiving, reviewing, and responding to complaints from the public. This process is designed not only to strengthen how we respond to public concerns, but also to provide greater assurance and consistency in how issues are surfaced and addressed across our organization. My goal tonight is to give you a clear understanding of what qualifies as a formal complaint, how the process works from intake through to resolution, and the benefits that this change will provide. Next slide, Christine. So I wanted to start with a simple scenario. A member of the public raises a concern with our organization, and from their perspective, they're really asking three questions. Will it be taken seriously? Will it be reviewed fairly? And will it be responded to clearly? At its core, that's what this work is about, building the public's trust and answering those questions with a yes. First, this process puts structure around that expectation. It ensures that concerns are handled in a way that is transparent, fair, and timely. Second, it ensures greater consistency. Without a structured approach, complaints can be handled differently depending on where they come in or who receives them. This process standardizes that pathway. And third, complaints can highlight gaps in service, communication challenges, or issues that may be emerging in our community. Having a system to track and analyze complaints helps us to identify these risks and create opportunities for improvement. And finally, for you as board members, this gives you another option when concerns come forward to you. You can direct individuals to a process that will handle their concern in a consistent way. Next slide. With that context, before walking through the process, I want to briefly define what is meant by a formal complaint. A formal complaint is a concern raised by a member of the public that requires both review and a documented response from the organization. Typically, these are more complex concerns that cannot be resolved at the point of contact. To support consistency, these complaints are submitted through defined channels so they can be tracked and managed through a standardized process. It's also important to distinguish formal complaints from other types of interactions. For example, service requests are generally simple and resolved in a single interaction, such as when someone seeks information, needs clarification, or raises a minor concern that can be addressed immediately. Feedback, on the other hand, refers to suggestions, observations, or a general comment provided to support improvement and doesn't typically require a response or a formal follow-up. A formal complaint is different in that it requires structured review and a documented response. For example, it could involve a significant concern about how a service was delivered or how someone was treated during an interaction with our staff. It's also distinct from two other processes you may be aware of. The appeals process, which is a formal legal review of specific public health decisions through the Health Services Appeal and Review Board that's established by the Ministry of Health. And the other one, I think you just heard about, the whistleblower directive, which relates to serious internal concerns such as wrongdoing or ethical issues. This distinction is important for you as board members as it provides clarity on how different concerns are categorized and addressed within the organization. Next slide. So let's look at how the concern moves through the process from start to finish. Complaints can come in through different channels. Most commonly, it would be an online form, but we may also receive email or letters. And once the complaint is received, concerns are reviewed and then they're routed to the appropriate program area. At that point, if the concern can be addressed quickly, for example, by providing clarification, it could be resolved and documented as a service request. But if it does require further investigation and review, it'll move into the formal complaints process. Formal complaints are entered into our quality issue reporting system. We call it the QIR. And this is the same system we use to track broader quality issues, including client safety concerns and service delivery issues. From there, the complaint is assigned to leadership to conduct an investigation. Their role is to gather information, assess what has occurred, and then prepare a response. The system ensures that this review is documented consistently, and it also allows us to track trends and patterns over time. Finally, complaint information is aggregated and reported on quarterly. This gives visibility into quality issues across the organization and helps us to identify areas where improvement may be needed. Next slide. Beyond the steps themselves, this structure gives a number of important benefits from an oversight perspective. First, in terms of visibility and oversight, complaints are included in our quarterly QIR reporting, which provides an organization-wide view. Second, around trends and risk identification, we're able to monitor complaints over time, which supports earlier identification of emerging issues and allows us to respond more proactively. And third, in terms of quality improvement and accountability, the data feeds directly into our continuous quality improvement work and can strengthen accountability through a more standardized approach. Overall, this provides assurance that concerns are not only addressed individually, but they're also used to strengthen services across our organization. Next slide. From that organizational perspective, I'll briefly speak to what this means for you as the board. This process strengthens oversight and provides an additional structured way to ensure concerns are addressed in a consistent and transparent manner. It gives you another option to direct concerns you may receive from the public, knowing that they'll be formally reviewed, documented, and responded to. It also provides assurance that there is consistency in how complaints are handled across the organization, rather than varying depending on where they're received. Through the reporting process, there is visibility at the aggregate level. We can see trends, emerging issues, and areas of risk. And then that information feeds directly into continuous quality improvement work, helping to strengthen our services over time. Overall, this new process offers greater assurance that concerns from the public are being addressed in a consistent and accountable way. Next slide. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Good. Any questions, Sarah Inch?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So I'm wondering, so the results, the reporting, is that a public reporting? I know it says it's in the QIR. would that be something that would be presented? Camera or?
So the QIR reports come to the Board of Health in some form. But they are reviewed by PT and in more detail.
So it isn't.
The summary of the number of, you know, the different levels of the issues related to, so 0 being, you know, it's something, there was a possibility of an event, but it was averted, it didn't happen. It's down all the way through to 5, which is a major, to 5, right? Which is a major event for,
yeah.
5 levels, but yeah, major event that has significant, you know, reputational, financial.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Terry? Let's see none. Thank you very much, Terry.
Thank you.
Oh, Dr. Devolati?
I just wanted to add that it's upcoming in an agenda item, but that it links to this in terms of some modifications to the Board of Health bylaws to account for the fact that we have this process in place, that we do encourage Board of Health members, when appropriate, to direct complaints to, so that they can be dealt with in a consistent and, you know, organized manner that then allows us to implement quality improvement strategies if needed.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you. 10.3 Board of Health revision motion or notice of motions. Need a mover and a seconder, please? Karen, okay. Shepherd, second by Karen. Whereas the Board of Health received and reviewed a written notice in the June 24th, 26 agenda package and a proposed provision for the Board of Health bylaw. Therefore, be resolved that the Board of Health approve the proposed revision of the Board of Health bylaw regulation to the Board of Health as presented. Any discussion on the motion? Dr. Zimbalati? First, okay.
Oh, yeah. You can have them.
Okay. All right, I'll go with that. Dave first and then Jamie.
I'm just curious, and I think we talked about this before, but I need to be reminded. Why are we removing an appointment of standing committees, auditor, and legal advisors? Why are we removing legal advisors?
Because this is something that the board through direction felt was an operational decision for executive team. That is something that in pulling other health units, very few other boards of health.
And item 67, in regards to responding to complaints from the public, the final bullet on that on page 20 of 29, concerns relating to wrongdoing, including illegal acts, misuse of authority, or gross mismanagement, will be directed to the chair of the board of health or an executive team member pursuant to the whistleblower directive. So we talked about that earlier. So that's what you're referring to now. I just had one question now. If it's in regard to the MOH, should it only ever be directed then to the chair of the board, and should we state that explicitly? So no, okay, I was just.
So I think
Or an
now
executive
that you
team.
say that, I think that
Or
does
an
use it
executive team member.
in terms of, because it's either chair or vice chair.
Yeah. It says will be directed to the chair of the Board of Health or an executive team member. I'm just wondering though, if it is.
Sure.
Yeah, should be vice chair.
Okay, thank you.
So we can do that.
Thank
Can
you.
we amend it?
That was the question. Yeah, it's to me now, it's in the bylaws, so that whole whistleblower thing and complaint, everything is in there, so it is part of our process. It straightens that out for me. Yeah.
Good discussion? Any other discussion on the motion? Dr. Zimbalati?
Should be only other the housekeeping item related to the legacy of units and there will be some numbering changes that will have to happen as a result of.
Okay. All right, I'll call the vote. No other questions? Rick Champagne, yes. Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower, Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Larry.
Yep.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex Scott,
Yes.
Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland, Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
Carried. Board of Health Self-Evaluation Report.
So I would like to present the results of the Board of Health self-evaluation that took place just in recent months, and then the action plan that has been developed, the training program that has been developed as a result. So first reviewing, we will review the survey results and themes that emerge from self-evaluation. Then I'll present some suggestions for how areas for growth could be addressed. And then I'll also present the draft training program, which will cover the next couple of years, and your feedback will be welcomed. So as you may recall, the Board of Health survey was divided into 4 sections: the Board of Health roles and responsibilities, Board of Health information sharing, Board of Health relations, and planning. Generally, in interpreting results, a single not sure of responses were disregarded. So I'll just start with the Board of Health roles and responsibilities section. So overall in this area, Board of Health members indicated agreement that they feel knowledgeable regarding their roles and responsibilities as the Board of Health and individual board members. Strong understanding was reported regarding the audit and financial oversight process and legal liabilities. The Board of Health expressed confidence that it has an appropriate committee structure to exercise its responsibilities. Some uncertainty regarding familiarity with the HPPA and bylaws of the organization was expressed. Also, awareness of the Board of Health's preparedness to oversee an emergency situation was expressed as a gap by more than one Board of Health member. The desire for regular Board of Health education sessions was the theme that came through in the comments. Topics specifically requested for training included the HPPA and Board of Health bylaws, emergency preparedness, and Board of Health roles and responsibilities. Comments from single Board of Health members expressed interest in learning more about best practices for boards, including regarding board structure, receiving more health updates, and having more active board member participation. In information sharing, compared to the 2024 self-evaluation, there were strong gains in the perception of the value of the MOH report to the Board of Health and of staff presentations to the Board of Health among Board of Health members. The results revealed that compared to 2024, more Board of Health members agreed that the orientation, training program, and reference materials provided to Board of Health members were effective. More than one Board of Health member still expressed some uncertainty with respect to this. Generally, comments reflected appreciation for the orientation resources, and regular refreshers were requested. It was noted that some staff presentations contained technical language or industry speak, and more consistent use of plain language would be helpful in Board of Health meetings. There was also a comment about healthy discourse within Board of Health meetings. In terms of Board of Health relations, overall, there was stability in this assessment compared to 2024. However, there was a decreased comfort among Board of Health members in raising issues that may be unpopular as compared to 2024 results. In this area, there was limited qualitative feedback. There was a single comment advocating for holding Board of Health meetings over summer months and a second related to Board of Health culture. In terms of planning, overall, Board of Health members expressed familiarity with the Health Unit's annual report, and you see the most recent version in front of you. Budget planning process, and they felt that Board of Health supported delivering on strategic priorities. Notably, agreement with the familiarity with the budget planning process increased 20% from 2024. With respect to planning, one comment advocated for the Board of Health being given more information about the process and context behind budgetary decisions. Okay, so with this feedback, I reviewed it and also met with Rick and Tim, who are on the Board of Health Evaluation Committee, and drafted a training program to address the concerns. So I'll present the training program in two ways. First, by mapping the identified learning goals of the Board of Health with learning opportunities and resources, and second, mapping the learning opportunities into a timeline or a schedule. So to enhance the board members' understanding of their roles and responsibilities, governance best practices, the following activities are planned. The governance manual will be updated with enhancements to the section on Board of Health responsibilities. Orientation and midterm reorientation sessions will also emphasize Board of Health roles and responsibilities, as well as the Health Protection and Promotion Act and Board of Health bylaws. Governance training through an external reputable provider will address topics such as governance best practices, legal requirements of boards, and characteristics of high-functioning boards. And then based on this training, structural changes to the Board of Health may be considered based on learnings. And to close some gaps where Board of Health members were uncertain, they had enough information to make sound governance decisions. Additional training sessions or presentations by staff are planned on topics such as the budget, including the planning process that informs the budget, emergency management, cybersecurity, and strategic plan. Additional presentations or training may be considered in the second half of the upcoming Board of Health term to address areas of uncertainty identified in the 2028 Board of Health self-evaluation, such as further governance training offered by Alpha, or further governance by the independent third party. So to address some of the comments related to Board of Health information sharing, ETU, and when it reviews presentations or previews presentations to the board, will provide guidance to staff to avoid the use of jargon in their presentations. And the previously proposed externally provided governance training will also address board culture. Presentations from the staff to the Board of Health will continue. Will keep the Board of Health informed of active areas of work and increase the comfort level of the staff with Board of Health presentations. With respect to the Board of Health's learning goals related to board relations, the governance training previously mentioned will also enhance practices in this area. Also, a chairperson's handbook and accompanying training has been developed by Ashley and will be offered to incoming chairpersons of the Board of Health and its committees. These resources will support chairs in leading procedurally correct and collegial meetings. Finally, related to planning, a budget training session will be offered prior to the deliberation of the 2028 budget. This training will provide an overview of the budget planning process, funding streams, as well as interpreting the budget document itself. Also, there are plans to have the Board of Health more deeply engaged in the creation of the next strategic plan. So wrapping this all up into a schedule of training. This is kind of the Gantt chart that lays it out. I've separated out the training here into training that would be provided by internal resources, both presentations during Board of Health meetings, as well as training that can occur outside of Board of Health meetings, training that we're looking at to be provided by an external party, and also updates to the resources, changes to structures and processes. There's no need for official endorsement through resolution for this training plan. And this is kind of an evergreen plan. It can be tweaked as we go to meet needs of Board of Health. And I'll just mention that IOG is the organization. You can see that it's pretty small, but in terms of the governance training, that's the organization that we've identified to provide governance training to the Board of Health. And they're an organization from Ottawa that provides training to public boards across Canada. So I'll just leave this slide up a bit for a little bit and invite any questions or reflections on this. And I don't know if Rikerton, you wanted to.
No, we'll go questions first. Dave?
Like it very much. And I appreciate the time and effort that was put into this. And I'll just speak only on my own behalf on this. I think some of this is a result of some of the questions that I may have asked at various board meetings over the past 3 years. I am concerned, however, under Board of Health relations, that final point of, as a Board of Health member, I feel comfortable raising an issue that might be unpopular. I'm a bit concerned that there's people that feel that that's difficult. The purpose of our sitting at this table is to challenge and probe and question, and at times to push back when we think that there are things we need to be a little more knowledgeable about. And the questions that we ask allow for clarity and I think certainty that we know that we're going in the right direction. So I've always felt, again, only speaking for myself, that when there's a difficult conversation to be had, it's just best to have it. So that we can get to a resolution or a direction that we can move in. So I appreciate, because I think this was taken away over the past couple of years and considered. I'd like to see that number improved very much, because out of all of that concerns me as someone who sits on a lot of different boards. That really concerns me, that there may be individuals who are feeling reluctant to bring up something that they might find or think that their colleagues would find unpleasant. Life is full of pleasant things, but we do have an obligation, part of our duty as a board member, to do these things. So I appreciate that all coming forward. The only other comment I would have is on the budget planning process, which has always been, in my mind, sort of the Board of Health does it a little differently than a lot of the other boards that I sit on. So I'm glad to see that that's in there, because I think it will be instructive and very helpful, especially after the next election. There may be new members of the board and so forth. So I think that will be very beneficial. Could that not just be part of that finance committee's role to have a budget planning session, a budget education session, baked into the process every year? It's a committee of the whole, essentially. Those that wish to attend could attend and make it part of that initial meeting, and then have the regular session of that meeting afterwards. Just a thought, not a suggestion, just a thought.
Yeah, so in terms of having it as part of the committee, since it is purely training, purely for informational purposes, I do not think it has to happen in the committee set, because when it's about Board of Health education training, it doesn't need to happen in open session. And I think it invites more spirit of inquiry and learning if it can be done, just with the Board of Health. So that's what I envision for that, is for it to take place prior to the presentation to the board of the budget, but with ample time for then the board to then be able to review the budget with the new understanding and
Sure.
yeah. And whether it's planned for 2028, whether in 2029, the board feels that they would like that again in preparation for, that's something definitely that could be.
Yeah. I'm really pleased with this, very much so.
And just to speak to your previous point too about, raising difficult topics, or asking difficult questions. I do hope that's something that with IOG training, it will be able to get all the Board of Health members that we're on the same page as to, what our best practices, and this is a practice of the board to, it is your responsibility to ensure that the Board of Health, that the health unit is being operated, and operated well. And so asking those questions is important. And I think in terms of the training, it will provide some understanding of maybe how that can be facilitated or how that's done.
I'm just gonna echo on Dave's comment. What opened my eyes is when I came and done the orientation with Alex when he got on board. And even then, I'm still remembering, and it's stuff that I forgot about. And like I've been on this board quite a few years, and you're still remembering AI and cybersecurity. All that is changing so fast that it wouldn't hurt to have a few more sessions a year, or at least once a year, just to refresh. And we could tell that by the response from everybody, right? I agree. It was great to put together, and we got great comments. And again, you can't be scared of bringing something forward. That's why we're here. That's not always a same decision, but at least we get an opportunity to have an open discussion. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Zimbalai. If anybody else has any comments? Is anybody else? Is Karen still with us? Yes.
I
Okay.
am. I was actually just thinking, I think it would reflect poorly on a board if there wasn't dialogue or questions, especially challenging ones, because that is what we're here for. So that would be really unfortunate if there weren't those kinds of conversations taking place at this board. I think it would reflect that we aren't functioning well if those types of conversations aren't taking place. I agree with Dave completely on that.
Marianne?
I echo everything that Dave said too. And people need to recognize too that when there is a discussion, like a heated discussion or something like that, it is not personal. It is about an issue or a perspective or a point. And it's, when we leave, it's respected. It's not something that we kind of take with us. If that gives anybody any level of comfort to step up and say it.
Well, I go back to my father always said to me, he said, there's no such a stupid question. That's a great answer. Any other discussion? Okay. Go on to 10.5. Annual meeting conference report from attendees. You want to start up, Mr. Shepherd?
What a party.
I was kidding.
It's not the minutes.
It's actually the opposite.
Yeah. It's always interesting. I've been to a few now. The Toronto venue is always a challenge, and once we get there, it's all good. It was a beautiful spot this last conference at that right down on the waterfront. Lots of activities in this one. We had the walking tour along the waterfront. I hadn't been there for a number of years, and the improvements are just incredible. The stores, the venue, the park, picnic areas, there's people everywhere. We barely escaped with our lives on Wednesday because FIFA was starting, and they actually warned us at 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning. They said, we're going to have a break, and before you reach for a coffee or something to eat, you get out of your room, because they will charge you overnight again, because they want everybody out to get ready for the FIFA people coming in. And there's going to be no breaks on rates. Oh, it's just an hour late or something. So that was interesting. So Tuesday's the big day. Well, no, I'm sorry. Monday night is always a great session. It's an open reception for 2 hours, 5 to 7. And every medical officer of health, I'm sure, I don't think anybody missed it, Doctor, eh? Medical officers of health across the whole.
Well, we met you on the sidewalk.
Yeah, we met you on the sidewalk. This is really, yeah, it was, and the interaction is just so much fun. They serve alcohol. You don't need to worry about that, though. It's so expensive. I didn't buy any, but it's just a great time. People are so friendly, outgoing. All the board members, doctors, you don't even know who you're talking to. Like, there's just, but they're talking all about the same thing. The trials and tribulations and everything else. Talked to a couple regarding amalgamations, and I think we were lucky not to amalgamate. I talked to a couple of ladies out of the Timmins one, and they said it's going to take years to get it sorted out. The money really wasn't worth it, like the cost that you had to speed this up, so you got extra money to amalgamate, but that disappears. Just gets vaporized. So she didn't have anything positive to say about that. That's for sure. Tuesday, full day of meetings and lectures. There's a list there. Very, very knowledgeable people. Very, very informative. A long day, but a really good day. And then on Wednesday morning was also interesting. 9 a.m. We were split up from our doctor. We were devastated, but it was Rick and I in a room with all kinds of board members. Several hours in a meeting with the legal experts discussing the framework of appointments, term endings, continuity of boards in an election year, which was very timely. And we have numerous elected officials here, and nobody knows what's going to happen in the election, and how does a board function when there's a turnover and everything. So that was quite interesting. Rick,
Yeah, well, basically the biggest comment was, I think the lawyers sometimes should just stay out of it, but he talked about the lame duck issue, and down south they have a bigger issue than we do. So a lot of board members aren't coming back, provincial appointees aren't coming back, and they're all worried about what decisions are going to be made after August. And I don't think our group here is much in dire needs of some other people, the lame duck issue, but apparently there's just changes to the health unit or the health bylaws that it used to take until January to get reappointed. Now they're saying it's going to be within 2 weeks of the election. So I'm not sure how they're going to do that. So I'm still going to get information. They're going to send us that stuff. So they say that it's going to change quick, but they're supposed to be sending stuff in writing, and I'm still waiting. I don't think you got anything yet. They talked us in writing. So as soon as I get something, I'll keep you in tune, but I'm not sure how they're going to do that. But I think it's more scare tactic from the lawyers more than anything else. And if they're going to change things that fast, we don't know about it.
So question, Mr. Chair. So they're saying that the board will be in place 2 weeks after it is?
Yeah.
Like, so I've got, if I am still around, I've got 7 municipalities to deal with.
Yeah, those a lot of the questions that they're asking, because they used to take till January 1st, and it's going to be 6 weeks after, but now they're saying within 2 weeks they'll want to get this done. I'm not sure how you're going to do this, or how the powers are going to be to let the doctor, the medical officer to make these decisions. So again, they're supposed to be sending some information. So again, it was 2 hours that my brain hurt so much from listening to the lawyers. I didn't realize at the end that I wasn't sure if I was going to I should, anyway. Even some of their questions were, the lawyers were asked from some AMO representatives that were there. The AMO representatives were answering the lawyer questions, so it was a little difficult there for a little bit. So again, I'll keep you on, but it was a really good, it was a really good conference. And we talked to a lot of other, we all know what that's about. You go to conferences, you talk to other Board of Health and other chairs, and they got the same problem we do. And the biggest thing is the 1%. Everybody's talking about it. What's going to happen? And even Dr. Moore said, 1% ain't going to cut it. So what are we going to do? And it's going to be us as politicians to go after our MPs and that say, you tell us, and Premier Ford spoke there, and so did and he said, if it wasn't for the health units, we'd be in trouble. Well, we're in trouble. And you haven't noticed yet, but we need the information that we need. We also need the funding to go with it. And if you're telling us we're very important at our job and we're how important it is to the province, well, you better come to the plate, because right now there's only one thing that's going to happen. Most of us is staff, right? So we hope they don't have to do that, but that's, clear minds is 1% ain't going to do it. So that's basically our report. Any other discussions or questions, please? Okay, see now. 10.6, Healthy Smiles Ontario, fee schedule, access for dental care for children, youth. 10.6, what I'll do is I'll ask for mover and a seconder, read it, and we'll have a discussion. So need a mover and a seconder, please. Sarah Inch. There we are. Whereas the Public Health of Sudbury and District has passed a Board of Health resolution calling on the Ministry of Health to increase reimbursement rates under the Healthy Smile Ontario program to improve provider participation and access to dental care for children and youth. And whereas the North Bay Parry Sound Health Unit continues to observe similar barriers in the Nipissing Parry Sound District, including limited provider participation and resulting in challenges in access timely dental care for eligible children. And whereas the untreated dental disease in children can have significant health and development impacts and may lead to avoidable use of hospital-based dental services. Therefore, that be resolved that the Board of Health of the North Bay Parry Sound Health Unit endorse the resolution of the Public Health Sudbury and District calling on the Minister of Health to increase reimbursement rates under the Healthy Smile Ontario Schedule of Dental Services and Fees to align with the Ontario Dental Association suggested fee guide for the general practitioners, and furthermore, it be resolved that the resolution be circulated to the Honorable Sylvie Jones, Minister of Health, the Chief of Medical Officer of Health of Ontario, the Association of Local Public Health Agencies, ALPHA, the Ontario Dental Association, health unit members, municipalities, and all the board members of health. Discussion on this motion. See none? We'll ask for a vote. Rick Champagne, yes. Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Lowry,
Yep.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex Scott,
Yes.
Tim Shepard,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland, Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
Carried. Healthy impact to bring our own alcohol and outdoor public events. Notice of motion, 10.7. Water, need a mover and a seconder? Jamie McGarvey? Okay. Tim Shepard? Whereas the Ontario Public Health Standard requires public health units to address substance use and prevent injury through evidence-based health promotion approaches. And whereas the alcohol is a leading risk factor for injury, chronic disease, disabilities, premature death, contributes to significant healthcare and societal cost. And whereas the increased availability and visibility of alcohol is associated with the increase in consumption, normalization of use, the higher rate of alcohol-related harm, particular among the youth and the vulnerable population. And whereas the alcohol-related harms in the Nipissing Parry Sound District exceed the provincial average and place a significant pressure on the health care system, emergency service, and the public resources. And whereas the municipality play a key role in shaping local alcohol environments through bylaws and policies and can be implement evidence of informed strategies to reduce alcohol-related harms. Whereas permitted BYO alcohol prevent may increase in municipality liabilities, enforcement demands, and risk of community safety without a strong control and adequate capacity. And there be resolved that the Board of Health of North Bay Parish Sound Health Unit recommend that the municipalities within the district not permit bring your own alcohol events as part of the municipal alcohol policy. Be furthermore resolved that the Board of Health of the North Bay Parish Sound Health Unit encourage municipalities to adopt, strengthen, and maintain evidence-informed municipality alcohol policies that limit alcohol availability and prioritize health, safety, and community well-being. So be resolved that the Board of Health of the North Bay Parish Sound Health Unit support continued collaboration with the municipal partners by providing public health expertise, local data, and guidance on alcohol-related harms and policy development. Oh, it'll be resolved that the municipality allows bring your own alcohol prevent permits. The Board of Health of the North Bay Parish Sound Health Unit asks that the approvals be evaluated on a case-by-case basis and consider the following safeguards. 1, including family focus or youth focused events where children and youth may be present. 2, restrict location primarily frequent by children and youth, including playgrounds, sports field, splash pads, skateboards, BMX parks, libraries, and schools, as well as location that prevent inherent safety risks, including outdoor pools, nature of outdoor rinks, and other bodies of water. 3, including that events of alcohol use would reasonably increase nuisance, risk, and inequity. Let be furthermore that resolved that the copies of this resolution be forwarded to the members of municipalities, Ontario Boards of Health, Vic Fideli MPP, Nipissing Graydon Smith MPP, Parry Sounds Muskoka John Van Toff, Temiskaming Cochrane, the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, North Bay Police Services, Ontario Provincial Police Detachments of North Bay, West Parry Sound and Islands, or Algonquin Islands, Canadian Mental Health Association, North Bay and area, Canadian Mental Association, Muskoka Parry Sound, North Bay Regional Health Center, West Nipissing General Hospital, Mattawa General Hospital, West Parry Sound Community Center, HANDS, the Family Health Network, Children's Aid Society, Nipissing and Parry Sound. Okay.
I wasn't paying attention.
Discussion on this motion. Mary Ann.
I'm so disappointed that this is coming around. I grew up in the 70s where, most of the kids didn't make it to prom because there were always accidents and kids were killed at my age for drinking and driving. And here we are, we're kind of softening on all the progress that's been built up to this point in time. Just saying.
Alcohol consumption is at the lowest rate for youth. I think it's cultural. I don't think it's structural from what the government does. I don't think it's going to impact youth using it.
No, did in my generation. I'm just saying. I lost, I don't know how many friends in high school. Right?
Culturally, right?
Yes.
Because everyone else was.
Yes.
Children aren't seeing. I teach at university and college. They don't drink anymore. Not to the extent that we did when we were in school. I'm sure your generation.
Oh, we drank. That was our life.
So I think the concern is.
Yeah. It was,
It is true.
right? It was.
Dave?
I think the motion speaks to recommending to municipalities that they take into consideration certain parameters when deciding how they want to conduct their activities in regard to drinking in public events, what have you. I don't think that it's going to necessarily inform them on what they have to do. But I think we're offering direction from a public health perspective that would offer insights into why they might want to make decisions with an informed process as opposed to just a, well, it's just a party or it's whatever. So I don't have any insight into what municipalities will or will not do. They're going to do what they want to do. Municipalities can make regulations, rules and laws and bylaws as they please. But at least we're doing what we are mandated to do, which is to offer advice to the best of our ability that would inform them from a public health perspective.
It is something that we're not alone.
Yeah.
In this motion, it's something that other health units, other boards of health.
Brought forward. Any other discussion? Okay, I'll ask for a vote. Rick Champagne, yes. Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower, Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Laurie.
Yep.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex Scott,
Yes.
Tim Shepherd,
Yes.
Mary Ann Stickland,
Yes.
Dave Wolf.
Yep.
Carried. Next item on the agenda, 10.8. Response to the Blastomicus inquest and jury recommendation, notice of motion. Did I say the word right? Blastomicus. Yes, okay. All right, I need a mover and a seconder before we move on. Okay. Tim Shepherd, Karen Cook. Or the jury for the request for the inquest of death of Luke Moore, Lorraine Chagassis, Lizzie Sutherland, Mark Ferris, and Douglas Taylor issued 79 recommendations for action. And whereas the regional supervising coroner inquest has requested the boards of health respond to the recommendations 27, 28, 33, 48, and 52. Whereas the recommendations 27, 28, 33, and 48, as well as recommendations 4, 8, 24, 31, 47, and 77 are relevant to the work public health units. Whereas the recommendation 52 does not fall within the scope of the local public health units, therefore to resolve that the Board of Health of North Bay Parry Sound Health Unit endorse the recommendation of the Blastomycosis inquest, and that furthermore that the Board of Health of North Bay Parry Sound Health Unit approve the response to the Blastomycosis request recommendations as presented in Appendix A and authorize the submission to the Office of the Chief Coroner, and that be furthermore recommendation 52 referred to the Office of the Chief Medical Officer of Health and the Minister of Health. Please tell me what we're talking about. Dave?
I'm just curious. So I kind of feel as well, what are we talking about? Part of the motion reads that whereas recommendations number 27, 28, 33, and 48, as well as recommendations 4, 8, 24, 31, 47, and 77 are relevant to the work of public health units. But when I looked at those recommendations, they seem specific to other things, or maybe I read them wrong. Did recommendation number 4 not speak to the MNR providing a cleanup? Did recommendation number 8 not provide for long-term funding by Indigenous Services Canada or services? So I'm confused as to how some of those additional recommendations that are in the motion are relevant to the work of public health. So if again, I'm not opposed to it. I just want clarification on why we're including those. And if they're not, germane to what we're really trying to do, can we strike them from the motion?
So-
Or did I read that wrong when I looked at the recommendations?
Which department does it fall into? Well, Louise was up there, right?
It's a department, so it's Indigenous engagement as well as infectious disease and
Both Chris and Bobby's around.
Yeah, I was just trying to pull up the recommendations. Chris, or Louise, I'm not sure if you have them in front of you.
Yeah, I pulled them up. So specifically for number, so can you repeat the, it was number 4 you were asking about?
So I'm asking about recommendations number 4, number 8, 24, 31, and 47.
Okay, so recommendation 4 is talking about publishing in 6 months of verdicts and the plan to implement Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls to action 22 and 23 is applicable. And that's calling on including Public Health Ontario and Northeast Public Health. So that is where our response comes in here. And so if you look at number 4, it goes a little bit further. If you look at the appendix, you'll see our response to that question. So I think you're asking about a cleanup question. That wasn't recommendation 4. So you may have had the wrong one.
Okay. So are all these, sorry, not to belabor it. So recommendations 4, 8, 24, 31, and 47, and then 77, which doesn't have a note in the appendix. How do they relate to the work of public health again? Sorry, can you just?
So they went beyond the scope of the core questions we were asked about, but they're things that we're either doing or feel that are necessary for us to be doing. So for example, number 8 is talking about Indigenous cultural safety training. And that's something that we do as part of our work with Indigenous engagement and development already. So some of these fell into the scopes of different areas of our work, and that's why we were adding them into the recommendations we were addressing.
Also, some of them specifically mentioned, for instance, Northeast Public Health, but any recommendation really that relates to one health unit, is worth other health units looking at to see if this is something that, it should be applied to them as well.
Okay.
And 77 is one that just relates to providing a follow-up report in December to update on implementation of things mentioned in the responses.
We're voting on something that hopefully we all understand.
So public health units, do you have any jurisdictional jurisdictions? Territories?
So it's not specifically jurisdiction, it's collaboration. We don't want anyone involved within it in terms of public health needs. So we offer services, we collaborate to occasionally jointly provide services or see where we can support if necessary, if requested by, for instance, Indigenous Service Canada or other organizations that provide public health services in First Nations communities.
So, for example, if I know someone who's renting in, fixing First Nation or wherever, and if they had mold, they were told the health unit doesn't cover that there's nothing that can be done. So I don't know. This is also about fungal sores, waste.
Right,
I'm
in
just
private
wondering,
homes,
like,
that would be a
what
bit
this
different
actually
too,
looks to.
because that would really be within the scope of private residence, right? Regardless, but definitely not a First Nations community, we don't have, my authority does not extend to Health Nations community. I not order anything. So it is purely collaborative, it's purely support for communities and services.
So these are recommendations, but they're not action items.
The Office of the Chief Coroner, they're not binding in any way. However, I think it's important that we look at the recommendations and seek. I do believe in the power of inquests to expose needs in the community and affect change. And you know, the coroner's service, they speak for those who can't to prevent future deaths. So I think this is something that we as an organization need to get behind in terms of making sure that we are responding to the recommendations that have been put forward.
So in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation, because in some ways we have no jurisdiction, it would fall under the federal purview. Am I reading and hearing that correctly?
So, I mean, like I said, there are partnerships and a lot of the recommendations to clarifying roles and responsibilities, because there are gray areas in terms of who has jurisdiction, and we don't want people to fall through the net. So it is our responsibility to see what can be done to clarify those roles and responsibilities. Many of those conversations are happening at higher levels in the local health unit, but we also have our local conversations with partners to be able to, you know, find ways to work together. What are needs within the community? What are ways that meeting needs can be facilitated. So it is part of our role to be collaborative in these, and that is in terms of the Ontario Public Health Standards, there is that expectation that jurisdiction alone shouldn't necessarily be a barrier. It's just obviously we need to be sensitive to what communities want. And, you know, yes, when it comes strictly to medical officer health orders or like to section 13 orders as well, that's what we do not have enforcement.
Right. Any other discussion?
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you, Dr. Zimbalati. Thank you, Chris. Last for a vote. Rick Champagne, yes. Karen Cook,
Yes.
Blair Flower,
Yes.
Sarah Inch,
Yes.
Jamie Larry,
Yes.
Jamie McGarvey,
Yes.
Alex Scott, Shepherd,
Yes.
Marianne Stickland,
Yes.
Dave Wolf.
Yeah.
Carried. Brings us to adjournment. Thank you very much for everybody for coming out tonight. Great discussion. And thank you for all the staff for all the work you do. Thank you very much. We have a media question. Okay.
Alicia is going to join our communication. Yes, hello. My name is Alicia. I'm the communications coordinator here. I'm stepping in for Kylie tonight. And here's the question that we have. It's when the decision was made to end routine beach water testing and move to signage, how was it decided and who made the final call, and what specific documents, data, reports, or financial considerations were reviewed as part of that decision? Was the Board of Health involved or informed before the change was finalized? What indicators will the health unit track to know whether this approach is working? If illness patterns change or concerns increase, what specific steps or thresholds would trigger a review of this decision?
Thank you for the question. As medical officer of health, executive officer, the final decision on this was mine. The decision to stop monthly beach sampling was informed by the low risk and low seriousness of illness from swimming at our beaches and the logistics and resources associated with beach waters for the 60 designated beaches throughout the health unit district. Because environmental conditions can change quickly, monthly testing results were not reliable indicators of actual bacterial counts. For this reason, individual samples are not an effective way to assess swimming safety, whereas the signage presents in the moment actionable information for the public. The decision and associated information were presented to the Board of Health at our February 25th meeting for their input. And 3 meetings were held in March by the health unit with representatives from municipalities throughout the district. Regular syndromic surveillance by the health unit will continue to monitor for increases in illness. We will also continue to work with municipal partners to respond to concerns and investigate complaints. In addition, the health unit response to blue-green algae at public beaches is not changing. And for more information, I encourage you to review the information on our website under beaches.
Nothing else to add? We answered the question. Thank you.
I'll let you know when we're. Yep, that's all the questions that we have. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Adjournment.